and welcome to our CVR English World News Update. I'm your host Jyoti and we will be bringing the latest updates from around the world, highlighting the most significant stories of the day. Let's dive into the details. From his Lapland town of From his Lapland town of Rovaniemi, Santa Claus is preparing for Christmas. But after Finland's hottest summer, there is not a snowflake in sight. We can see that the climate change is true. He laments while sitting on an armchair, and it's affecting the reindeer, it's affecting the life here in the Arctic. In the touristic Santa Claus village, visitors brave the rain to get a glimpse of the magic.
No niin, maivonmalta. Kaksi? Of course, my reindeer, they can fly, so that's no problem. But it's so much nicer when everything is covered with the snow, and it really gives you the Christmas feeling.
Figured it would be much more snowy. I mean, it still feels like Christmas just because it's everywhere, but I figured it would be a little bit more Santa-like, if that makes sense. But it's nice to see the kids; they're super excited, so that's kind of pretty cool to see as well.
Se voi olla. But they still come. Yeah. So
there's no other Santa offices.
We can see that the climate change is true, and it's affecting the reindeer, it's affecting the life here in the Arctic. But as we don't know yet how it's going to affect that, one prediction is that we're going to get more snow, it will arrive later, we will get more and it will stay longer. But we'll see. But last year, this time, we had this much. Actually, talking this morning with my elves that last year, the same day, we had -12 and we had this much of snow. So it's a different year.
Madhubala's 16-year-old elephant was said to be relocated from Karachi Zoo to Karachi Safari Park. The authorities explained that the move was being made to reunite her with her sisters, who were already residing at the safari park. They highlighted the importance of this relocation for Madhubala's well-being, as being with her siblings would provide her with a better companionship and a more natural living environment. The officials expressed hope that the transition would be smooth for the elephant, ensuring her comfort and safety during the move.
It is the last day in Karachi Zoo. A lot of work done in the last few months together with KMC to train this elephant, to train the mahout.
When I came here first for the assessment, we diagnosed severe problems with the task. Then we came back 1.5 years ago. We did a really severe task surgery for 7 hours with my colleague Thomas Hildebrand from the Institute and with the local colleagues here and with the Force team. And I'm so happy to see now this totally healed. So the swelling is gone, the infection is gone, and she is mentally and physically right now in a good shape. She was alone here. The roommate was dying. It's not a good thing. Elephants are very smart and they are very social animals. And I'm happy for her that she gets a little bit more room, a little bit more silent, and a nice company.
You will get an interview later as well, but I really kindly ask you.
JFE Engineering, a leading Japanese firm, has launched its first overseas waste management project in Malaysia. Approved in July 2024, the project involves the development of the Sustainable Scheduled Waste Treatment Center, which will be treat and dispose of clinical toxic and hazardous waste. The facility incorporates heat recovery techniques from incarnation to the support thermal recycling, benefiting an adjacent drying facility. The project aims to address Malaysia's growing industrial waste pollution while ensuring compliance with the strict air emission standards.
JFE Engineering, a prominent Japanese engineering firm, is specializing in waste-to-energy plants, oil and gas facilities, pipelines, bridges and other infrastructure projects worldwide, has launched its first overseas waste management project in Malaysia. The project received Malaysian government approval in July 2024. A joint venture known as J&T Berjaya Alam Murni JBAM was formed by Malaysia's NASA Enviro Holdings, Japan's J&T Recycling Corporation and JFE Engineering Malaysia. Together, they aim to develop and manage the Sustainable Scheduled Waste Treatment Center in Malaysia. The facility is designed to receive, treat and dispose of clinical, toxic and hazardous waste generated by medical facilities and various industries across the country. Through innovative heat recovery techniques from the incineration process, the project contributes to the circular economy. Recovered heat is used by an adjacent drying facility, enabling thermal recycling by reducing waste moisture content.
本施設は有害廃棄物や医療系廃棄物を処理する焼却炉です。 J&T 環境でも採用されているヒルストーカー式焼却炉であり、多種多様な幅広い廃棄物に対応可能で1日70トン、年間2万トンの処理能力があります。
As Malaysia faces increasing challenges with industrial waste pollution, JFE Engineering's advanced technology ensures proper waste treatment in line with the stringent air emission standards.
NASA Enviro operates the 659-acre Bukit Taga Enviro Park, one of Malaysia's leading sanitary landfills.
In response to recent developments in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, US President Joe Biden reportedly welcomed the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. The agreement, mediated by the US and France, marked a significant step toward ending the fighting along the Lebanon-Israel border. Biden described the ceasefire as good news and expressed hope that it would bring an end to the hostilities in the region.
End.
अक्टूबर 2023 को हमास के हमले के साथ शुरू हुआ इजराइल और हमास के बीच युद्ध अब एक नए मोड़ की ओर जाता हुआ दिख रहा है। लेबनान के साथ अस्थायी युद्ध विराम पर सहमति जताने के बाद पूरी दुनिया में बातचीत तेज हो गई है। इसी बीच अमेरिकी राष्ट्रपति जो बाइडेन ने लेबनान में इजराइल और हिजबुल्लाह के बीच अमेरिका और फ्रांस की मध्यस्थता से हुए युद्ध विराम समझौते का स्वागत करते हुए इसे एक अच्छी खबर बताया और साथ ही कहा लेबनान इजराइल सीमा पर लड़ाई खत्म हो जाएगी। बता दें कि इजराइल और लेबनान के प्रधानमंत्री दोनों ने युद्ध विराम समझौते को स्वीकार कर लिया है।
Just spoke with the Prime Minister of Israel and Lebanon. I'm pleased to announce that their governments have accepted the United States proposal to end the devastating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. I want to thank President Macron of France for his partnership in reaching this moment. Effective at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end. Will end. This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities. What is left of Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations will not be allowed I emphasize, will not be allowed to threaten the security of Israel again. Over the next 60 days, the Lebanese army and state security forces will deploy and take control of their own territory once again. Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure in southern Lebanon will not be allowed to be rebuilt. And over the next 60 days, Israel will gradually withdraw its remaining forces. And civilians on both sides will soon be able to safely return to their communities. Israel did not launch this war. The Lebanese people did not seek that war either, nor did the United States. Over the past year, including the days immediately following October the 7th, I directed the U.S. military to flow assets and capabilities into the region, including aircraft carriers, fighter squadrons, and sophisticated air defense battery, to defend Israel and deter our common enemy at a critical moment. And so the United States, with the full support of France and our other allies, has pledged to work with Israel and Lebanon to ensure that this arrangement is fully implemented, the agreement totally implemented. You know, there will be no U.S. troops deployed in southern Lebanon. This is consistent with my commitment to the American people to not put U.S. troops in combat in this conflict. Instead, we, along with France and others, will provide the necessary assistance to make sure this deal is implemented fully and effectively. If Hezbollah or anyone else breaks the deal and poses a direct threat to Israel, then Israel retains the right to self-defense consistent with international law, just like any country when facing a terrorist group pledged to that country's destruction. And just as the Lebanese people deserve a future of security and prosperity, so do the people of Gaza. They too deserve an end to the fighting and displacement. The people of Gaza have been through hell. Their world's absolutely shattered. Far too many civilians in Gaza have suffered far too much. And Hamas has refused for months and months to negotiate a good faith ceasefire and a hostage deal. And so now Hamas has a choice to make. Their only way out is to release the hostages, including American citizens, which they hold. And in the process, bring an end to the fighting, which would make possible a surge of humanitarian relief. Over the coming days, the United States will make another push with Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Israel, and others to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza. With the hostages released and the end of the war without Hamas in power, that becomes possible. The United States remains prepared to conclude a set of historic deals with Saudi Arabia, to include a security pact and economic assurances, together with a credible pathway for establishing a Palestinian state. The fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end.
As international negotiators met in South Korea to discuss a global agreement on plastic waste, Chinese artist Fu Juxing was using his art to highlight the issue. Fu, who collects plastic waste from a neglected beach in China's Miadao Islands, transforms the materials into powerful works of art. Through his creations, Fu aims to raise awareness about the environmental impact of plastic pollution, drawing attention to the global need for effective waste management solutions.
我是88年出生的嘛，所以我这一代人嘛，就目睹了一个社会一个快速的发展的过程当中我们对大自然呢，有的时候有点忽视了自然甚至有时候不管不顾的面对大自然的一些情况。
关联，让人一下子就感受到，它就变成咱看那些微的塑料，最后进入我们人体里。
它是降解不了的，它只能变成小颗粒。那它怎么被吃到我们体内？然后这些过程，我肉眼肯定是看不见的。就是可以想象，这是各种人，男女老少各种各样的人，然后陶罐那边摆着大罐。比如说我捡到这个彩色的塑料啊，就专门也有书籍。 这些洗漱用品、化妆品全是人们为了让自己更干净、更漂亮、更美的一些日用品，但是呢，都不小心进入了海洋，进入了自然界，全都污染了海洋，让海洋变得就没有那么美观了。
很多是渔业生产的，就是这边一些园子完整的。
海洋生态保护需要不同国家和地区的人一起共同努力，它不是一个点的问题，它至少是一个面儿和一个整体的问题。我是88年出生的嘛，所以我这一代人嘛，就目睹了一个社会一个快速的发展的过程当中我们对大自然的有的时候有点忽视了自然甚至有时候不太不管不顾的面对大自然的一些情况。
就是一个产生关联，让人一下子就感受到，它就变成咱看的这微的塑料，最后进入的人体里面。
它是降解不了的，它只能变成小颗粒。
French farmers protesting against a proposed EU trade deal with South America's Mercosur bloc took action by erecting a concrete wall in front of the INRAE Institute in Paris. The farmers, concerned that the deal would harm their livelihoods, argued that the agreement would lead to increased competition from cheaper agricultural products, undermining local farming standards and practices. They expressed strong opposition to the deal, emphasizing the negative impact it could have on the agricultural industry in France. The protest targeted INRAE, France National Research Institute for Agriculture, Food and Environment, which is involved in agricultural policy research.
Il y en a ras-le-bol de cette institution qui sert à rien. On va murer l'INRA. Il faut que ça s'arrête. Et de l'autre côté, on est dans des cartons administratifs. On est submergé de normes qui sont plus débiles les unes que les autres et on ne peut pas faire notre métier. Et de l'autre côté, on va importer des produits. Vas-y.
Vas-y, on va finir le bout là.
Vas-y, prends un gros coup, tu vois. Il y en a ras-le-bol de cette institution qui sert à rien. On va murer l'INRA. Il faut que ça s'arrête.
Following the announcement of a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, tens of thousands of Lebanese citizens began returning to their homes. However, many were met with overwhelming destruction in their towns and villages, which had been heavily impacted by the ongoing conflict. Residents described finding their homes, infrastructure and local communities devastated, with widespread damage to buildings and essential services. Despite the ceasefire, the reality of rebuilding and recovery seemed daunting, and many expressed concern over the long-term impact of the destruction on their daily lives.
نحن كنا ببيروت بس لو يعطوني قصر انا ببيروت ما بترك بيتي هون. شفتي يعطوني قصر بس كان الدمار يعني قد ما الدمار قد ما الحزن قد ما نحن مش البيت لا ينسكن يعني بس نحن مبسوطين قد الدنيا انه جينا على بيوتنا والحمد لله نحن بألف خير. هيدا هو يعني. وهيدا كمان لا نحن ما بنروح، نحن قاعدين هون ونايمين هون، وبدي اظبط هلا مثل ما شفتوني عم كنس وبدي انظف بدي اقعد بي، ما بروح لمطرح. الشباك ممكن نحط له نايلون، ما نحن نحط شيء. كانت الامور يعني شوي ما عندي، انا اولادي هون ومدارسهم هون والحمد لله نحن هون ما بنروح لمطرح. حسينا روحنا رجعت عن جد.
بس ما كنا متوقعين نجي ونلاقي أنا هيك، يعني كنا متوقعين نرجع نلاقي كل شيء مثل ما كان ونرجع على بيوتنا ونشوف كل أحبابنا وهيك، بس خسرنا كتير ناس وكتير ناس بنحبها راحت، وبيوت كتير ناس بنحبها صارت بلا بيوت، يعني بس الحمد لله على كل شيء. بالرجعة هيدا ها أصعب شيء إنه نشوف المناظر اللي عم نشوفها هلا، وما بعرف حنتعود بلا الناس اللي كنا كتير قراب منهم.
شو بيتي ما بيتي، شو بدي ببيتي؟ أنا لايك أنا هيدا شايف المظهر، هيدا اللي شايفتين هيدا بس ببكي القلب صح. أنا هلا عم شوف عم بسأل إذا حدا ما عندوش بيت أو بيته رايح يجي لعندي دغري يجي، طبعا كلنا نحن لبعضنا، هيدي لازم يكون هيك إن شاء الله.
Seoul, South Korea's capital, was reportedly blanketed by the heaviest November snowfall since records began more than a century ago. Meteorologists indicated that the unprecedented snowstorm had caused significant disruptions across the city, with the transportation delays and power outages affecting thousands. Local authorities urged residents to take precautions as the snow continued to accumulate. Experts noted that this extreme weather event is part of a growing trend of unusual weather patterns in the region, raising concerns about the impact of climate change.
저번 주만 해도 막 그 11월 가을이 약간 좀 따뜻하다고 느꼈는데 이게 일주일 만에 거의 겨울 왕국이 된 느낌이어서 좀 색달랐고, 그래서 좀 이 겨울을 첫눈을 즐기기 위해서 오늘 거리로 나왔습니다.
저녁에 퇴근할 때면 혹시 길이 미끄러워서 좀 괜찮을지 좀 걱정되는 부분도 있어요.
저번 주만 해도 막 그 11월 가을이 약간 좀 따뜻하다고 느꼈는데 이게 일주일 만에 거의 겨울 왕국이 된 느낌이어서 좀 색달랐고, 그래서 좀 이 겨울을 첫눈을 즐기기 위해서 오늘 거리로 나왔습니다.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says he is pleased with the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hezbollah. We expect all parties, especially Israel, to fulfill their responsibilities to the letter in order to maintain calm on the ground. He says hours after the ceasefire came into force, Turkey said it was ready to give Lebanon the necessary support for the establishment of internal peace.
Savaşı ve 14. ayına ulaşan Gazze soykırımı dahil coğrafyamızdaki tüm krizlerin çözümü için yoğun çaba içindeyiz. İsrail ile Lübnan arasında bu sabah itibariyle yürürlüğe giren ateşkes anlaşmasından memnuniyet duyuyoruz. Sahada sükunetin muhafazası noktasında tüm tarafların bilhassa da İsrail'in sorumluluklarını harfiyen yerine getirmesini bekliyoruz. Gazze'de katliamın durması ve kalıcı ateşkesin tesisi için Türkiye olarak her türlü katkıya hazır olduğumuzu ifade ediyorum. Şimdi isterseniz son
Following the announcement of a ceasefire, daily images showed Israeli troops patrolling the Lebanon border and Israeli soldiers stationed near UNIFIL post in southern Lebanon. Reports indicated that the presence of Israeli forces in the area was a precautionary measure to ensure the ceasefire was upheld. Both the Israeli military and UN peacekeepers were closely monitoring the situation to maintain stability and prevent any further escalation. While the ceasefire was in place, authorities emphasized the importance of continued vigilance along the border. Emergency services were reportedly accessing the damage following a deadly explosion at a plastics factory near Alicante, Spain. Authorities confirmed that the blast claimed the lives of 3 individuals and left 7 others injured. Some critically rescue teams worked swiftly to secure the area and treat the injured. Local officials indicated that the cause of the explosion was still under investigation and safety protocols at the factory were being examined. The incident has raised concerns about industrial safety standards in the region.
Lo que es la caldera ha hecho hacia allá. Si habéis acabado y salís mejor.
Ahead of the first stage of voting on a bill to legalize assisted dying in the UK, media speaks to both sides of the debate. Palliative care consultant Amy Profit opposes the practicalities of the bill, saying that she as a doctor cannot determine a caution. I have no legal training whatsoever. Anil Douglas, on the other hand, whose father secretly took his own life, believes that if the bill had been in place when my father died, he could have had a much safer, kinder, more compassionate death.
Been in place when my father died.
That's all for now. Keep watching CVR English for more latest updates.